Yeah, I get right to the racks. Then I make that shit back. Run up on me, get shot in the back.
It's great to be in the building for every year. So Scotty said, man, back American. Today we got underground. Bare knuckle boxing.
Underground.
In the UK. If you can change subscribe, you request and react. Someone requested this. What do you have to say about underground bare knuckle? Well, just bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah, bare knuckle.
You watch a lot.
I watch it a lot on the weekends, you know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest with you, I love it because once this knuckle hits inside the eyeball,
you bled, man.
You bled, man. I bleed. You know what I mean? I bled. The blood go in your eye. Usually see the boxer, either he bled, or he just dropped down. That shit's a wrap because you can't open your eye because your eyes are upside down.
Word, man. Like this for you. Follow us on JT on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. He's a big shoulder, so you can't see it.
For sure.
But let's have right to it. It's a long way. Let's get right to it. Right?
What they say about men with big shoulders?
I don't know. What they say. Let us know in the comments.
Subscribe, please.
Yeah, never know. You might as well do it. You're already here. Oh wow, he's pretty old.
Fighting known to man. One name strikes fear further into the heart of those who hear it. Bare knuckle. For years, the men of Britain have rammed their unprotected fists into each other's bodies to decide who was the hardest of them all.
Oh my God.
Mopping them up.
Oh my God.
To travellers, to family men and gangsters, being a bare knuckle fighter is something that marks you out from the rest of society.
Yeah.
Some shit I'm definitely not doing.
It's a thoroughly British blood sport that gradually sank further into the criminal underground as the rest of society became more civilized. It's a sport of legend, honour, and astonishing violence.
Oh, he saw his tooth.
Bare knuckle fighting is a world that most people think they understand, but few have actually seen.
Why they don't wear mouthpiece?
Now, a number of fighters and promoters are trying to take it into the mainstream, setting up the most anticipated bare knuckle fight in over 150 years. America versus Britain.
Ooh.
And I wanted to know if the sport can ever truly take itself out of its underground past.
This is fire. I'm very intrigued.
Little lady, don't you cry. I'm gonna punch you in your eyes.
The common perception of bare knuckle fighting is that only Irish travellers and East End men still do it. But in actual fact, there's still a thriving underground, and the fighters come from all walks of life.
Irish travellers.
It originates here in the UK. I'm here in Hinckley, just outside Leicester, to meet Andy Topley.
He walked with swag.
Andy runs a promotion company called B-Bad Promotions, and what he aims to do with that company is to kind of bring bare knuckle into the mainstream.
It's an up-and-coming fight company, and I do it because I love the sport, and I want the sport to grow.
Intrigued to know more about the history of bare knuckle and why now it seems to be on the up, we met at a patriotic pub just outside Leicester.
Patriotic pub.
Yeah. What is the history of bare knuckle fighting in England and Britain?
Bare knuckle fighting as a sport was absolutely categorically English. It was an English thing. The Europeans feared Englishmen for their fighting ability. It's actually a British heritage, bare knuckle fighting is. It's where boxing comes from. Certainly in the 18th century, very big sport. Even the royal family, they would want to know who won, if it was a big fight.
With the mustache.
Superstars of today.
And how about your own background? How did you get into bare knuckle?
From a very young age, to be honest with you.
My dad beat me.
In the training community. My hands, they're destroyed. They're deformed because of it. Obviously, in the bare knuckle world, there has always been quite a lot of input with criminals. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to push all of that out. I wanted that gone. I decided to do B-Bad and keep it as a proper sport. I really want to get this regulated and get it mainstream. We started the first UK belt since,
If you look at it, the dude talking, he don't drink. He don't drink. The other dude, he already halfway through his pint. The young boy, alcoholic.
I know, right? What the hell?
Yes. And then I thought, well, one extra step and we'll go for the Atlantic belt, which is a real historic belt. I'd always wanted to get,
And if you just started,
Jason Young, this is the man
The machine gun.
dreamt of getting over into this country. We were making history with this guy being here. The last time an American was in this country fighting for a belt, against the UK champion.
1922.
1863. It's a big deal.
Wow,
Jason was flown into the UK prior to the fight and had surrounded himself with some of the most knowledgeable fighters in the UK, including ex-bare knuckle champion Paddy Monahan,
Oh, wow.
famous for his friendship with Muhammad Ali.
Oh,
Yes,
interesting.
it's took us to get you here, isn't it?
3 years, but I'm here. No excuses.
No excuses,
I'm here.
that's it. And you're
Nowhere to
gonna
run.
prove the boys wrong, isn't it, mate?
Oh yeah.
But he couldn't stick around for long, as he was off to Wing Chun Grandmaster Samuel Kwok's martial arts retreat
way.
in Blackpool, a man who apparently once trained with Bruce Lee.
Oh shit!
might lie.
Jason is taking this fight
This
very
is probably
seriously.
cracked.
No, I'm saying they said that he probably trained with Bruce Lee. He's probably lying.
I just punched my own hand. Okay.
But whilst my own experiences of fighting are fairly pathetic, I was intrigued to meet a man who'd been fighting since the age of 10. James Gypsy Boy McCrory from Newcastle, a living legend in the bare knuckle scene, and the man pitted up against Jason Young in the Atlantic title fight.
Oh shit!
We met him at his local
That combo was
Hit
fire.
him with the
50
one
steam
one
diner in the centre of
Yeah, he
town.
hit him with the 1-2.
We
We
met
call
him
that the
at his
shit.
look-up from Newcastle.
Pause it real quick.
A living
We call this the two-piece chicken with fries.
Word.
Pop, pop, pop.
legend in the bare knuckle scene, and the
Look at
man
this shit.
pitted up against Jason Young in the Atlantic title fight.
Pop, pop, pop.
We met
two
him
piece.
at his local hall,
Creepy.
a 50s themed diner in the centre of town.
So what's good there? Everything is good, but the burgers are hugely. The reason why because we burger brings this, yeah. It's come out and it doesn't sell beer, you know what I mean? So that's the truth, like.
Well, they don't
Your
sell
nickname
beer.
is Gypsy Boy. Where does that come from?
Obviously, I've travelled all over. I've lived in Ireland and worked all over.
Is being Irish a big part of your kind of fighting
Yeah,
heritage?
he was Irish.
Yeah. I love Ireland. I love going back. I love seeing my mum. I love it. I love spending time with family, honestly. I love sitting on the settee, like cuddle watching TV, me, big softy, love my family.
Big softy, love me family.
Like, you know, the chicken meal get full of rice and all that crap, but I prefer to get full of Guinness and full of food, you know.
It's a much more fun way to do it.
Aye. My days have been on one of our well guns, so don't worry about a 6-pack anymore, mate, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm there.
That's it, all for the 4K.
Don't worry about the 6-pack.
James, a self-professed softy and family man, invited us to his house to meet his
Why you
charming
walk like that,
and
yo?
long-suffering girlfriend,
Heel tough.
Leanne.
Heel
I
tough.
love being late and sort of party, you know.
You know
I
that?
Girlfriend, softy and family
Hey,
man,
look.
invited us to his house
Heel
to
tough.
meet his charming
Heel tough.
and long-suffering girlfriend, Leanne.
I love being late and sort of party, you know. I'm Jack the lad, but mainly down when bread's but I don't know.
What?
I've got a good girl and she's broke with a lot. Hopefully,
Sounds like
one
Irish.
day, I'm Maria, you know.
What did she do?
Drives me fucking bonkers, mate.
People always complain about their girl, but why are you winning it? Weird.
Sorry, lads.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? How's life?
Close the door.
Alright, I'm fine.
Me and James are very, very different.
He's like,
Like,
whatever.
we couldn't get two people more different in regards to what we're like, how we've lived our lives, choices we've made.
How do you feel about him being considered like a legend?
I find it funny because it's James.
Damn.
I'm male now,
She hated him.
which is quite funny. Person you see on like the fights on YouTube, that's not him. Like I know it is, but
That's
not
that Jimmy.
person I know.
That's what they all say.
I don't like it, to be honest with you. When you come back from the day bad, like his face was really bad. It was
Oh,
bad.
almost, yeah.
I cleaned
Yeah,
it.
let's get it on.
That's what's so bothered about. So I watched the duvet twice.
There's brother with his, like, it was just awful. It's not just about him having a fight, it's the effect that it can have on us in regards as a couple. Build up a certain fight. He's like a time bomb. Last summer I had a bit of a bad time and I thought, you know, this is not working. I'm away. But I've never seen anybody fight as much as what he did to get me back.
Oh. That's my baby.
Having learned about the origins of bare knuckle and spent time with some of the biggest names in the game, it was time to see it in the flesh. BBAB was holding an event in Colwyn Bay, North Wales.
How much is the entrance? I want to go
The
to.
first fight between a pair of seemingly well-matched middleweights was over in seconds.
Bam! In the eyeball. What I tell you? Once you get hit in the eyeball?
And last fight of the night
over.
was something that will stay with me forever.
Yeah, I don't lie.
Seth Jones.
Seth Jones, a 46-year-old local solicitor and lunatic known as the Bangor Hammer,
He's definitely
took a
crazy.
man 20 years younger than himself.
Oh my
from his
God.
younger distance
Why?
in a fight that was as controversial as it was thrilling.
Why would you fight a dude 20 years younger?
He just beat up his dad.
Oh God. Let's see who wins. No way. He out there though.
You know how to block though.
Knuckle with the right hook, crazy. He ate it though, he ate it. Gut check. Ooh. Oh. He's nuts.
My eyeballs!
Changing the rules somewhat.
I'm telling you, that's the biggest thing about this boxing. As soon as this knuckle right here, land right in here,
it's over.
You seen them old boy was like, my eye! The accent went away and everything, like, my eye! He stabbed me in the eye with his hand?
Yeah, that's what he said. Sure. That's what happened to him. Oh my God.
After what seemed like hours, they called it a draw.
It was a draw. Yeah, he could fight, you know, he didn't go down.
It seemed odd to see so much blood in what was supposedly a stalemate, but I couldn't call a winner either. Seth seemed like he'd taken more abuse, but Aaron looked exhausted.
It was my first fight, put myself forward for it when I saw it on the internet for a 13-stone fighter.
How does it feel fighting someone who's...
That's his first fight, he did that good?
Don't really matter, I've had street fights with older people since I was...
The Knuckle Butcher!
Used to get in trouble fighting and all that lot.
Do you think it'll make you a more peaceful person?
Yeah, I'm peaceful anyway.
But you also get a lot of street fights. How does that kind of
Well, I used to get in street fights when I was younger because I used to hang around with the wrong crowd. My gentleman was going a bit too much. Now I know how it feels, I can control it a little bit more.
Oh, he beat the brakes off him.
I cooked out with my left eye, I got poked in it. But I think, yeah, it's a good result from both of us. I'm chuffed with it.
And how do you feel right now?
Buzzing.
Do you think you'll feel worse tomorrow morning?
You know what I mean? I've had worse than this.
Yeah.
How does it feel fighting guys who
Interview Grandpa.
considerably younger?
Half your age?
That's just the nature of bare knuckle boxing. You know, I fought guys older than myself. I don't mind fighting younger guys. I don't mind. I just like fighting.
So like Mike Tyson?
You fight in the streets?
No, them days. I used to have a lot of fights.
You too old.
Younger.
Look at his face.
Yo, I could rock with him any day.
Huge mistake in my life.
Missing a finger and all that, look.
To being a bit of a drug smuggler, to going to prison, and then I realised, you know.
Oh, that's how he stabbed his eye.
And so I decided to go back to school and study.
My eye!
In the time I'd spent in the world of bare knuckle so far, I began to realise that the sport had a kind of gravitational pull for lost souls.
Stop showing his hand, please.
Seemed to be people who made bad decisions in life. Perhaps in bare knuckle, they found a way to utilise their talents, which happened to lay in a realm of normal society.
Put him on his back.
However, I wondered if organised violence was a cure or a symptom for angry young men.
James Lambert.
He's pushing. Oh, he's good. He's angry. Yo, he's hitting on his down.
Friends, it's James, the author of Be Happy in 24 Hours. I used to be a very unhappy person, very violent person,
You can tell,
bouncer and unlicensed boxer. And these are some of the tips and strategies that helped me change my life.
Yo, his
and
bottom
literally become the happy person I am today, helping society and being the happy coach.
Retiring from the sport undefeated, James Lambert had taken a complete U-turn from his life of violence and reinvented himself as a lifestyle and fitness coach, calling himself Mr. Happy.
How long have you lived here? Quite, what's it been now? I think it's coming up to 2 years. We basically moved here for the peace and
So
quiet.
the girlfriend, the other guy's girlfriend, right? They share girlfriends?
Yeah, right.
It's cul-de-sac. It's very peaceful. We've got super neighbours. Did you want one, sugar, my friend?
So, were you always a fighter?
There was always this.
It's crazy because you could live anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Just
I
hide
was a
out.
happy, angry, violent person. I went out into the world and lo and behold, I found other angry, violent, scared young men. You know, somebody would catch my eye, I would catch theirs,
and a fight would ensue. It was that ridiculous.
Can you remember your first bare knuckle fight?
Of course, mixed emotions even to this day, because I was terrified. I used fear as a form of energy, transmuted that into positive energy that drove me into my victories. But again, I found it very empty. When I got home, I was still left with my problems, not just outside, but in my mind. So the fight did nothing to make me happy.
Did you know other fighters who felt similarly?
Well, you see, this is the thing, it's never spoken about, certainly not within that world where emotion is immediately and very directly equated with weakness. A leopard can.
That's crazy though, look at him, he's looking
and it's very important because I hear it a lot and it's a mind part.
That's scared, huh?
Yeah.
Scared, huh? Huh? Check out me,
Never give up on them. Your brother, your son, your friend could be an alcoholic, a drug addict. Never give up on them. People have the power.
You want to pay that to somebody right now.
I've done it myself. Even when you win, there was great pain. You know, my ribs had been fractured or broken. You know, always cuts to the face. But worse than that was the mental trauma. It was realising again what I had done, the person that I was becoming, and that really did affect me mentally. I think now looking back, I became depressed. I suppose there were thoughts of self-harm, maybe thoughts of, you know, if this is it, I don't actually want to be. I don't want any part of this. And that was actually profoundly upsetting for me, and I felt terrible.
How did they get to this? So is he a bare knuckle guy?
Yeah, this shit got sad. Pause it real quick, pause it. Yo, this got mad sad now. This is like a mental. Like, I don't want to deal. I already go to grief. I already do the counseling, man. I already go to psychiatrist, man. I'm already on medication. Like, I don't need to hear this double up shit. Shit is depressing.
I have to say it was the last, but you know, that became a lot.
James had removed everything that would remind him of his past life as a violent young man, apart from a punch bag, which still hangs in the garage where he coaches his clients.
Do you still hit the bag?
Actually, what does this have to do with bare knuckling? Does he bare knuckle up?
2 years ago, when I decided to fully refrain from fighting, and for me that's violence in word, thought and deed. So for me, at this current point in my life, I'm hoping to change. It might change next week. You know, other people can keep it controlled. I fear that the anger wouldn't just stay here, and again it would leak into other aspects of my life. So I've just made a personal decision to not hit anything, if you like, for a while. And so far I've been good to my word.
Meeting James is really surprising because here you've got a guy who's in the bare knuckle game for years and came out of it undefeated, yet in some way he feels kind of ashamed, and he will admit that he is haunted by his past. And looking at what he does now, it seems that his entire life is this kind of struggle to put that to bed. And he does seem to be winning that struggle, admirably so. And the Mr. Happy thing, I guess, is a way of him keeping that down. But behind that Mr. Happy persona, you do see flashes of the old James, this kind of machine that used to render men unconscious, as he said. But he will be the first to admit that, and he says that, you know, he hasn't conquered his demons yet. Now, in this kind of suburban life, perhaps he's fighting his biggest battle of all.
Oh wow.
The first UK versus US bare knuckle fight in over 150 years is just days away. So we've come back to Newcastle to see
Let's go United States!
In the middle of his training.
We come back to Villa Victoria to get some beer.
Yeah,
Let's see if America wins.
Like all your
I love pool. You guys like pool or some kind of
So when you're coming out, are there any kind of like routines?
Newcastle in the Rotters and Islanders, and we were in Newcastle talking the Irish shorts. Bastard.
Where would you like to see the sport go?
Maybe 10-15 years time, you know, it'll be hitting big arenas, you know, but I'll be, well, maybe, I may not, if the money comes good. But after myself, I might still be fighting in 15 years time.
15 years again, your face punched in?
The pressure, boys.
I'm good.
Thrive on the pressure.
Woo!
This should have been confidence.
That Guinness is done.
What it's like in the pit.
It's only like 3 beers a here, by this way, 3 beers here this way, 3 beers here
this way.
You take the 2 steps, you know, and there's something on you there, you know.
I'd be like fake with a job or moving my hand about, you know what I mean? If you like establish your job, it's a good thing, you know what I mean? And then obviously get the 1-2 and you know what I mean? And then obviously you're going to move your head a bit, you know, what I'd be trying to do if someone's jobbing me, you know? And then just like, maybe just come doing a bit, or come up to the centre and bang, bring a body shot in. And honestly, I'd much rather be with 10 in the jaw than one good one there, you know?
Yeah, that one fucking knock you out.
I can't even describe it, mate. It's the worst feeling in the world when you can't breathe and you've got a gum shield in your mouth. You try to spit the gum shield out, but you can't because you can't get your breath to get the power of your lungs to spit it out. You're going red, you start to see little fucking stars. Then you go around your hand low to the ground. It's horrible. It's horrible. And eventually your hands will drop and then boom. Good night, you know what I mean?
And if I wanted to knock you out and I'm looking for the chin about here, right?
You haven't brought the 14-pound hammer here, mate. You're all fucking out of luck.
You mentioned being punch drunk earlier. Do you think you could have like a wake-up call at all?
You know, I've had some great nights with a boxing and with a bare knuckle. If I wasn't so brain damaged, I could tell you them all, you know.
Do you worry it might affect your memories of your family in those kind of important moments or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, probably already has, you know. I mean, I can remember the day that my dad died. I can remember it all, every single second of it. But can't remember much. Otherwise, like, could get hit by a bus, you know, and wouldn't have any memories at all. So it's just a risk of what I take, isn't it? That's why the tattoos on my back, you know. My crow is a Catholic cross with a shamrock in for my dad, and no fear. I'm gonna be scared out in life, man. You just go for it.
Go for it.
But there's a lot more better fighters than there's out there, you know, but the difference, I've got the balls to fucking, I don't just talk about it, you know. If I say I'll train for a fight, I'll train for a fight, doesn't matter where I go. I don't think they are.
Thank God for subtitles.
Just how big a part of this is in my life, you know. It's fucking great when you can take someone's best digs and you can give them your best and see who comes out better.
From spending time with James, what I really began to understand was this idea of heart. I think a lot of us throw it out as like a kind of, just a cliche. But actually, looking at James and the way he conducts his life with this kind of very emotional attitude towards the death of his father and his relationship with his family, and what he does is he manages to channel that and bring it into the ring. He breaks every cliche. I mean, he's not one of these guys who comes around toting his unbeaten record. He knows he's been beaten a few times, and he literally takes it on the chin and accepts that. And maybe he's the perfect fighter because he's fallible.
I love fighting. I'm the Americans come over here across the Atlantic. I mean, it's a big deal. I don't think I'm gonna lose. That's not even in my mindset. You know, it's not even an option to me. Come on, American. You know, I've been a fighter my whole life. I feel like I'm the more skilled fighter. I'm the bigger fighter. And I don't really give a damn what anybody says because people are always gonna have opinions. People are always gonna doubt you. None of that matters. What matters is what happens in that pit when it's me and him. Me and James.
I think James is gonna beat him. Yeah. James got the heart, man. See ya.
The bare knuckle extravaganza down in South London. The US versus UK transatlantic showdown. The biggest bare knuckle fight in recent history.
Two champions, one from America, one from the UK, fighting for this belt.
Everybody shut up, let me talk.
1863 for this belt.
But before the title fight, we were treated to a few other tear-ups in the build-up to the main event. It was a festival of physical abuse.
Blood, guts, glory. I want to see people going for it.
Bare knuckle, it is the ultimate sport. Yeah, ultimate tear-up. Just enjoy seeing getting in there, you know, real punches and no fucking around, you know what I mean?
There's no old bar more or less, you know, they really go for it. Violence and plenty of chance of getting badly hurt.
Plenty of chance.
Fucking good match, you know what I mean? It's one of the best ones I've ever had, you know what I mean? It's up there with set 2 for
England is the home of bare knuckle.
I think the British, it's in the blood.
Oh, he went down for the count. Oh,
mate. Fuck the fucking rest of the world.
Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm here for Jason the Machine Gun Young.
Oh, wow.
Jason the Machine Gun Young fighting for the Atlantic Heavyweight title against the UK champ James
He's from Utah.
Kick his ass.
Jason was everything you'd expect an American fighter to be. Brash, verbose, and massively patriotic. He'd even referred to himself as the bald eagle on a few occasions.
Why he wrote him like...
Unfortunately, today's big upper boxers are mostly just boxers. I bring a different style. For me, it's natural. I tune everything else out, the crowd, the noise, the cameras, everything, and just focus on my opponent. Just in the zone. I'm the first American to come over here since 1863 and fight for the title, so there's much more pressure on him. Because I'm the unknown, I'm coming from the United States, we have a huge advantage.
It was 10 o'clock, the scheduled time for the fight, but James was still nowhere to be seen. Rumours that he was refusing to come down were spreading throughout the crowd. Some said he was in a cab on his way from Newcastle, others said he bottled it. This didn't sound like the James I knew, but time was ticking on, and the success of the night depended on his appearance. Jason, who'd been in training for weeks, had become increasingly agitated.
Well, I don't know what happened. He got stuck up in Newcastle. I mean, we've known about this fight for a very long time. I came all the way from America. If I was back in America, I'd have 100 friends who would come get me immediately and bring my ass down here. So I basically just told them, get down here. Seems like there's a lot of excuses with today's fighters. Back in the day, somebody called somebody out, and if you're going to be disrespectful, you got to back it up.
People were beginning to lose hope and headed towards the exit. It was looking likely that history wouldn't be made tonight.
And then James showed up.
And suddenly, like the Angel of the North, he rose. James McCrory, a few stones heavier, a few inches to his beard, and wearing a Newcastle football shirt, had arrived.
A few pounds heavier.
With his slightly bleary-eyed, he had fallen asleep for the entire cab journey. But was he too tired, too full of Guinness, to take on the machine gun?
He said too full of Guinness.
After weeks of build-up, training, mind games, and the threat of one of them not even turning up, the Atlantic title fight was about to start. We were here, on the edge of history. America versus the UK, toe-to-toe, bare knuckle.
Someone's getting knocked out.
James getting mopped up.
James, fight back.
And then a machine gun's fist hammered down on the struggling gypsy boy. It seemed that the title might be hanging across the Atlantic.
He wasn't fighting.
But McCrory had other ideas.
I look like the American
Oh, right hook, uppercut, left. Oh, cover your fist, boy. Oh, uppercut. Oh, left. He's down. Goes Frazier.
Oh, he got put out.
He's not cutting up either.
He came all the way to America and he knocked the fuck out. I mean, to the UK.
Fam, he took a right hook, left hook, uppercut, right hook.
And then left hook.
And his hands is trapped under his shoulder, his chin is on the side. Like, he's like, Mama?
And he'd done it. James McCrory had made sure that Britain had won the bare-knuckle bragging rights, and Young and his entourage were on their way back to Utah with their tails between their legs.
Just like that. Just like that.
To step into the big time. Not just for Andy Topliff's company, but for bare knuckle as a sport. And perhaps it had moved closer to everyone's dream of it becoming the biggest, nastiest, and most exciting blood sport in the UK.
Wow. Crazy.
It's a story of legend.
Yeah. James got big too. Oh my god.
Yeah, he was chilling. He was not working out. He looked like Tyson Fury.
They should have covered him more. I feel like this story was interesting. They
He
just
said
covered.
he's 46. He's way more older.
Yeah.
He like 67.
He like 56. Man, how do you feel about this documentary, man?
This is dope, man. This is that grimy thing that I wouldn't do, but I love to watch people do.
Word, right? Underground bare knuckle boxing in the UK, man. Subscribe if you ever. Let's look up some other Vice documentaries or anything like this you will see. Sharing TV, if you guys go trying to get out of here.
Yeah, thank you so much for subscribing. We out of here.
Like the video, we out of here. Gang.
Hey, hit the block, catches that slipping, we spinning in that drop. Bullets Tyson biting, fuck, I look like I ain't got a box. Ain't sparing no nigga, he try me and I'ma pop his top.